ago, Coffee Pods and Wads posted this clip on his YouTube.
Mhm.
And he basically just asked him if he could go back, would he fire the media team like he did in 2019? And basically Greg says yes, like he would do that, like the exact same thing over again if he had to go back. And then he kind of talks about how he like tried to sell the games and nobody wanted it. And like I've just heard him talk a bunch of times about how much he dislikes the games.
Mhm.
Greg did.
Mhm.
And I thought that was interesting. So I made a comment on here and I want to read it to you and get your thoughts. So I comment, the CrossFit Games were never meant to be a sport. They were meant to be more of a challenge or competition. It may have been inevitable that they would turn into a sport, but that's when it departed from the methodology and really the meaning of CrossFit, which is why I think Greg felt it no longer fit. And then this guy responds, I don't agree. CrossFit is inherently a sport. Does it have a methodology? Yes. But how does distancing yourself from a competition aspect affect the methodology? And I'm genuinely asking because maybe I'm missing something. So I respond, I'm saying it quickly became a functional fitness competition rather than a testing of the CrossFit methodology, which is why Greg doesn't like it. When the game started, the idea was to prove that those who trained CrossFit were the ones who were the fittest. They were testing the unknown and unknowable events straight from a hopper. As the years went on, it became a sport with a format, the same athletes, standard rules, etc., or as Greg likes to call it, thruster races. The unknown and unknowable became the known and knowable. The programming followed the same pattern year after year, and broad times and modal domains became a formula. As I said in my earlier comment, maybe that was the way it was destined to go no matter what. But when we have reached a point in which people complain because the pegboard or crossover double under came up out of nowhere, or when athletes complain because it's too hot or something is too high volume, it's a good indicator that we aren't testing true CrossFit anymore. It's just turned into thruster races, as Greg puts it. Personally, instead of seeing Greg get rid of it, I would have liked him to just flip it back to the way he intended it to be. Do all the crazy stuff, bring back the wild card, invite high rocksters, NFL players, hybrid athletes, do Murph in 100-degree weather, throw in new movements, do stuff we haven't seen before, pull the events straight out of a hopper, and bring back the CrossFit Games to its original intent. And the thruster races will obviously be included, but we are finding the fittest, which is why I think Greg started to not like it because it became just functional fitness. What do you think about that?
I see where you're coming from, and I don't disagree. I think the biggest thing for me, I think it's hard for me to see it maybe on the other side of the coin because I do compete and I like to compete, and the idea of the CrossFit Games is dope to me. I just think that they don't like. It's not that they don't like what the CrossFit Games is as much. I just don't think that they like how people treat it or like how athletes portray themselves more than anything. I think the problem is just the hyper focus and like the hyper sensationalism of like being a games athlete, or the higher than thou type like attitude, and kind of like
You think that was Greg's issue?
I think that bothers him more than anything. How it comes off as like that's more important than what's going on inside like the box and stuff. I don't think that it even is that much difference in a sense, because I think a lot of like racing, like thruster racing, is awesome for for just the masses, and just because of the excitement it brings and the competitive edge that it can bring out, and just the more drive it can give to people to like chase fitness. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but
Yeah.
I think those things aren't like really inherently or ever that bad. But I think it's just the way it gets portrayed through, I guess if you want to say like the professionalization of it all, and like just like all the eyeballs, and just everything's kind of just bastardized it a lot in a way, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So you think it's kind of more of he was concerned with the way like the CrossFit Games were bigger in some people's eyes than CrossFit.
Yeah, and it just took away. So I don't even think that he didn't like what was happening, because it's sick. I think like most people think it's cool. I just think it's the type of attention. It just got the wrong attention, and it gave people the wrong idea.
Yeah. Do you agree with what I'm saying here of like we've kind of like, as much as I like CrossFit, it's kind of we're like slowly shifting towards like functional fitness.
Yeah, just because like the sport itself is not really associating itself with like what the methodology is necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
And
what you're saying,
and
because it's all just based off of performance, like elite performance, not necessarily like health. Because part of the
yeah.
methodology is like it's health and it's other
Well,
things.
I even I even did this. I did this yesterday. So this is the last 5 years of just the games, just the CrossFit games.
Mhm.
Okay? So we have two finals, the two finals in 2025, Echo
Mhm.
Thruster in 2020. Oh no, 2024. Echo Thruster in 2023, Jackie Pro in 21, no,
Mhm.
22. Event 4 in 21, and then Happy Star and Friendly Fran both in 2020. So
Yeah.
in the last 5 years, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 workouts that had a thruster between 95 and 185 pounds, and the workout was between 4 minutes and 20 minutes long. There's 15 workouts ish at the games every year. There's an infinite amount of like combinations you could do. And like these actually do look a lot alike.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is there's some point in which we're doing thruster races.
Yeah.
So I wonder if and you know, I personally don't love thruster races. Like my favorite event in the last few years that I can remember was the sandbag. And that was because it was something like brand new and like just so cool to see. Basically, no one had ever touched it. It was like that was my favorite event in the last few years. And like I just don't love thruster races. I really like CrossFit. And and this actually brings me to a point I want to make too. I would love to see the wild card come back.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was cool when Hunter McIntyre came and did the games in 2019 because it was like it's cool to see people outside of our discipline do it.
Do you think
And
that
that was actually
anybody, even outside of Hunter McIntyre, would even have the balls to show up though?
the
Because everybody just knows they're gonna get the floor mopped with, like, you know what I mean? Because
yeah. But I would also love to see and it like you could level the playing field a little bit. Like you could invite people and also still level the playing field by throwing in things that aren't like standard in the gym CrossFit stuff, you know?
yeah. But I mean, I do like. What part of it do you say like it's important that CrossFit stays true to like classic CrossFit? Like,
Well, for example,
because I don't think that the
making
game.
making every single event be in a like temperature controlled environment, I think is not awesome. Like, dude, if me and you go out and we do Murph right now, and I finish before you because you can't handle the heat, am I fitter than you in that specific instance?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are just trying to like dumb it down and like constrict it into this little box. Well, CrossFit does not fit inside of a box. If you put it down into a box, it's just functional fitness.
But here's my like would be like my argument is like in the game. I mean, I just do you like. I feel like your argument is like you're saying that like the CrossFit Games should replicate what the methodology is exactly. But I don't think the CrossFit Games. I don't think CrossFit is trying to say that the CrossFit Games is. They're trying to. They do say that the sport is separate from.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think that's why Greg started to dislike it because he was involved in the first few years. He was
Yeah.
inviting the NFL players and he was inviting firefighters and military dudes and he's like, "Look at this. Look at how fit our program makes you. Look at how we're prepared for anything. Look at." And then also on top of that, he's like if we want to talk about the crossover double under, he's testing which CrossFitters are actually paying attention to the methodology.
Yeah.
So it's like now we're taking away stuff because it's gimmicky or coming up out of nowhere or making the athletes look dumb. We're taking stuff away because it could be dangerous or because whatever. And so now I just think it's becoming dumbed down. And I think that's why Greg didn't like it. I'm saying, I wonder if Greg even realizes that. Like, do you think that there's some chance that if the games were to shift kind of back, I mean, he did do that, right? He invited like I think 4 wild cards in 2019.
Ben Smith on American Tire. Who else?
Craig Ritchie, which he didn't do it.
Oh, he did invite Craig Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
And then maybe just 3, but you know what I mean. Like he was trying to turn it back into the games. And what I was saying is it kind of did turn into a sport, like like you can't just have a wild card in like a real professionalized sport.
Right.
But the CrossFit Games are a competition or like a challenge, so you can have a wild card.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just my thought. I wonder if, and I don't love that it feels like we're shifting more and more towards like functional fitness rather than CrossFit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with the game, like it being just a sport, like its own thing, though. Like I'm okay with that. Like,
I mean, I'm okay with it too. I'm just not interested.
You're not interested in it, the sport?
Nah.
Why can't you like both?
I mean, I can like both, but
and like understand that they're separate things with separate goals.
Well, and I think that's part of the issue is like there needs to be more of a delineation.
Like you want, like, because there's lots of overlap, obviously, but you want there to be more overlap, or
yeah, either more overlap or more separation. Because right now it's like this weird, like muddy mix of like you look at people doing like the CrossFit Games and the CrossFit Games season, and you're like, is this CrossFit? Like, kinda, I guess. Like you could say it is, but like there's also so much more you could add to CrossFit.
Sure.
Like anyway, I guess we could get really down in the weeds with it, but like there's some stuff that bothers me that I think it's like why have we just like pigeonholed ourselves so much? And I wanted to show you like let me see if I can pull it up. Yesterday I couldn't find the workouts, but 2021 and 2023 CrossFit Games programming are like the exact same thing.
Dude, I think that, like, and I really like Dave Castro. Like, I have zero problems with Dave Castro, and I'm still fine with him being at the top. But I think they need to just have different people programming. Like, if they want to do a rotation of, like, hey, our title programmer the next 2 years, or if they want to do 1 year at a time, I don't care, is this person, Bosman. The next 2 years, it's Chuck Carswell. The next 2 years, it's, I mean, that never should probably be just one person, but there should always be a different, like, head person, and then the team around them, which is, like, I think that'd be sick, dude. Like, there's probably so many guys that have been around since the beginning that, like, have such a good, like, grasp of what things should be and stuff. So, like, that'd be sick. Like, they just get,
and
like,
we'll actually get to this in a second, but like, bro, JR's programming for Syndicate, like
good.
it's good and like different.
Yeah, he always, I mean, yeah, it's his flavor of programming. It's very similar to what he programs at Crash and stuff.
But even just having him at like program the games, for example, compared to Dave, you just get so much.
Yeah, you just get so much
variety.
more. Yeah, it's just more unique. You get new things. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of sick of that. This year for me is definitely going to be like seeing what's at the games is going to be like if Dave doesn't, like, I don't know. It's like I want him to change it up, but I'm nervous that like him trying to change it up is going to come up with some dumb stuff like he did with like the tire thing last year. Thank goodness it didn't come out. But I'm just like,
I actually kind of like that.
I know.
I actually
don't know why.
I like the sandbag toss over the tire. I didn't like the hits.
I like the idea of a sandbag toss, but just like tossing it over a tire, just like stupid. Like why over just like this over the little tire? Like make it cooler, like throw it up and over like a wall or something. I don't know.
Well, the idea with the tire was it would add some like side throw instead of just you know what I mean? Instead of vertical.
It's weird.
Okay, speaking of JR, let's move on to the Syndicate programming. So, have you looked at these yet?
I have.
Event 1, Heavy Isabel, 12,963 snatches at 225. When I first read this, I was like, what am I reading, bro? Like I'm embarrassed at how long it took me to like figure out what I was reading.
I think that was a lot of people.
So it's just you advance the bar every time.
I just wonder why. I mean, I just think he probably. I gotta imagine he wanted it just written out like this, just to be like different, kind of, which is fine.
Yeah. Did you see that he said he like had the idea for Heavy Isabel like way before anyone had announced it?
Yeah, I think it was just him and Rich coincidentally came up with it together.
Obviously, we've seen that a million times. So,
but yeah, I mean that's how TFX we did 10-10-5-5.
Yeah. The second one. This is by far my favorite event that I've seen probably in a couple years.
Just the simplicity, but the nastiness.
100 cal echo, 100 toes to bar, 100 bar facing burpees, 100 front squat.
You know that he's done this very like hundreds workouts like every year, right?
Really?
He did my first year at Crash. He did it in the online qualifier for the next year at Crash, and then he did it this year at Crash again. So he just like likes the 100 style of workouts.
So what I like about this one is...
Sorry, real quick. He didn't do it at Crash this last year. I'm sorry. He actually didn't. He did it for the qualifier only. But never mind. Keep going.
What I like about the hundreds is people have a thing against putting a barbell in a workout over 20 minutes long. And this is one of the things I was kind of talking about with the, like, we're not doing CrossFit anymore, is like, dude, when was the last time you saw a 25-minute cap with something with a barbell at semifinals?
Last year.
What was it?
The 5 rounds, 800-meter run, 10 clean and jerks.
Ugh.
Which was a disgusting workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're saying, though.
But yeah, I mean, that was an Oli lift, though, which I kind of don't know if I count.
You just said barbell. You just want a one movement, just like a basic compound lift?
Like a power lift.
A compound lift, squat, deadlift, press. All right.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I like this because, one, I like finishing on the front squat. I think that's awesome. 2, I like putting that high volume of squat in a workout at that light of weight. And I think this is like the only way to do it, because if you were to do a workout with 115 front squats for this level of athlete, in most cases, it would be too light. Like they would be moving too fast. Whereas if you put this at the end in a workout like this, like people are going to be standing up at the top pretty, like it's easy. It's going to make it easier to judge the fact that it's at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. And then aside from that, it's just a stimulus that I think a lot of people don't hit.
Yeah. It honestly would probably be, I think, I mean, you saying that, building off that, makes me think of like how valuable it would be to add in your training sessions. I know myself, like zone 2s when I just get on an urge and just doing machines. But dude, if you did zone 2 with stuff like this, maybe not this much volume or this necessarily. Hey, we're talking here.
Dude, shut up, man.
If you did a zone 2 session where you're just chipping away at movements like this and like just building that capacity with that like muscular endurance and just ability there, you know what I mean?
What? No, I don't know what you mean.
Like, Brandon distracted me off my point. Dude, like this, you said, I don't know, weren't you saying how unique it is, like going that long?
Yeah, I'm saying like I just think it's a stimulus not a lot of people hit.
Yeah, I'm saying who trains like stuff like this long, those type of movements. Obviously, in a game time, you're going to be hitting this a lot harder than zone 2. But I'm saying, who for zone 2 training actually does like mixed modal movements and goes through grindy, like high
I thought you
volume
couldn't do
repetition.
stuff like this for zone 2.
Why can't you? Zone 2 is just your heart rate being in a certain range. It's not certain.
But I thought the point of zone 2 was to train your slow twitch fibers to like be able to recover faster.
No, the goal of zone 2 is to pump blood and oxygen right at that zone 2 heart rate, or doing a zone 2 heart rate. And it's actually flipped around. Like, people get caught up only doing zone 2 on machines, where the goal of zone 2 is to be able to efficiently like get oxygen to your muscles better. But if you're not actually using those muscles while you're in zone 2, it's almost kind of not as productive. So if you're in the zone 2 range, actually going through resistance training and other exercises is very valuable, more valuable.
Oh.
I agree. I agree with that. I don't think anyone does that.
Brennan, do you think this is Yeah, dude, your hair looks good, bro.
That's crazy.
My hair, thanks.
Looks good with that beanie covering your hairline.
Dude, I have to. Or a hat. Till I go to Turkey. I need to get some money so I could fix my clopped hairline.
Istanbul. Istanbul.
Istanbul does it? All right.
I don't know.
So, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Syndicate Crown workouts. This is so the first one was Heavy Isabel. The second one is this hundreds version. So it's 100 cal echo, 100 toes to bar, 100 bar facing burpees, 100 front squats at 115. We already talked about that, so we're gonna move on to the next one.
Oh,
so
I was gonna say that's disgusting.
8 rounds, 400-meter run, 40-foot yoke carry at 425. So when I first saw this, I thought the yoke was too light. I heard JR kind of explain it, and he said basically he wanted the yoke to be super light so that it like mattered basically even how fast you got into the yoke. He wanted that to even like affect your score, which I kind of get, but I don't know if I love because I just feel like the intensity. Well, I guess maybe the idea is to push the intensity because you have to get into the yoke fast. Whereas if you had to take a second, like a couple breaths before, it'd be a little bit different. What do you think about that, Drake?
I don't have a very good judgment on yoke weights because I don't ever mess with the yoke. So I honestly can't even tell you like what weight feels like what. So my judgment is bad.
Were you at the Quad Somniac in 2022 or 23?
No.
Okay.
But
well, we had one in our RX division, and the yoke finished at 625. And
what was the distance?
It was 50 feet.
Damn. Dude, that I mean, the hundreds workout and this are very heavy endurance workouts.
Yeah.
Like straight engine for days. Is that Brendan's phone that's just absolutely horrendous?
Yeah, I think so.
Sound?
Brendan, yeah, your sound's terrible. Do you got AirPods?
No, I'm in my car. Hold on, let me turn my car off. Is that better?
No.
Let me just do the phone then. Hold on. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes, way
better. Just hooked to your phone or your car.
Damn, that sucks. Well, how do I turn this up now?
What were you saying?
Okay, yeah, that seems a little bit too light. 40 feet is... I feel like you could have gone heavier and still had to get in it quick. But I also don't know yoke.
Think how hard they're going to be pushing those runs, though. 400 meters, smoking.
Yeah. 8 rounds is not like... That's quite a bit of rounds, too. I don't know. Maybe it is actually pretty good.
I thought it was too light. We'll see, though.
We'll see.
Does this affect your running at all?
Have they ever changed the height of the yoke carry? Like, is it standardized? So the amount lifts off the ground. Does that make sense? Like,
I think that they let them adjust it to where they want it.
Yeah. JR said that they're gonna walk onto the floor and adjust it in that like on the floor. They're going to have like 5 or 10 minutes or something to adjust it right then and there themselves.
Okay, so you're allowed to like adjust it so it lifts up
Dude,
higher?
so like I like it really high off. So like when I did that competition, bro, I had it like this high off the freaking ground.
I think that's how it should be. You should be able to lift it off however high you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I watched someone, I don't know who did it, but they were doing yoke carries, and it was like barely coming off the ground. And he had to like walk like super, like it looked horrible.
So I see that a lot, and I've actually wondered why. Like, why do you think people do that? Because I've seen people, and I'm like, why are you skimming the ground with the freaking yoke? Like, put it so that you're 6 inches off the ground, and you won't have to worry about it wobbling.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I asked, because I saw that like the other day, and I was like, maybe there's a standard it can only go that high off the ground. Or
I feel like if it's too heavy though, and like it gets super high off the ground, it can get off balance easier. I feel like because if it's super low to the ground and it barely taps, you can quickly readjust without having like a big pendulum swing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
that makes
super heavy, and it dips a ton. You have to like course correct a ton, and it's gonna like undulate like super hardcore.
I always wondered if it was like, I mean, like in a workout like this, you'd be doing basically like 16 like squats.
Yeah,
with it.
I don't know if that would. I know what you're saying. I don't
super low.
know if that would be.
I don't think that affected that much though.
It's just like when I lift off, my legs are wider, and so the first couple steps are more of like kind of like a bouncing, swinging, and then my feet come together. So like I just never liked it so low. Felt like I had to like get my feet together and then start walking.
I've literally only used the yoke, I think, once in a real workout.
Dang.
And that was a Zercher carry. It crashed my first year, which was horrendous.
Yeah,
that's sick. So that's 2. That's the third workout. Another one in the 15 plus range. What do you think about that? So we've only looked at 3, and already 2 of them have a time cap of 18 and 25.
I think that's good.
It's kind of the opposite of TFX.
I would rather see longer time domain bias than a shorter time domain, and I'm a power-based athlete, but from a programming sense, I'd rather see longer time domain bias anyway, if that's a thing.
I also like that one of them is cyclical with this running, and the other is like kind of more of a grind.
Yeah, just mixed modal.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Okay, so this next one is 2-2-2-3 intervals with 1 minute rest in between, obviously. 4 time. So each interval starts with 50 or 40 Rogue Pro double unders, and then 4 or 3 cut rope climbs, and then max distance double kettlebell overhead walking lunge until you complete 240 feet. Brandon, what do you think?
What is 240 divided by 5 or 50? 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5. And what is a Rogue Pro double under?
I think it's the weighted handle, the 1 pound handles or whatever.
The handles, not the rope.
The handles are like a pound or 2 pounds or something like that.
But like the rope's normal?
I mean, I think it's thicker than usual, but it's not like a weighted cable.
Yeah. I kind of think it looks sexy. So the cut rope climb, you just have to do a leg lift until you get your legs there, and then you can use your legs if you want.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
And I think the cut's at 5 feet.
Okay.
I think that's sick. I always like the cut rope.
1, 2. I mean, I kind of like it. The time domain seems fine. Like if you're doing 50 of those unbroken, I would imagine it'd take about 30 seconds. It'd be hard, but like, 30 seconds, 4 cut ropes. So you're having like
just under a minute to do lunges.
Just for a minute.
How many people are going to get into the third interval and not even be able to finish their cut rope climbs?
So that's the thing, is like, don't add up quick.
None.
I don't think it's enough. You don't have to do like 3
hand pulls,
4 pulls before you can get your feet up there.
Yeah, but you are. Yeah, dude, this is a good workout. 50-foot lunge takes like 30 seconds. 15 for like one length, kind of. So if you had like 45 seconds to do it, I mean, I guess 50.
Dual? Are you thinking dual overhead lunges?
Yeah. Yeah, it would. I think it would be the same. Like it's at 53. It'd be hard, but like it'd be the same speed, not like the 70s where you have to like brake. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the 53s kettlebells are nothing when you think about the
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah,
Semis.
I did some
Are
lunges.
kettlebells harder overhead than dumbbells or easier?
They're easier
Yeah.
Because you can kind of like turn it weird.
because they're just to the
Hang.
back. They don't
Yeah.
hang forward at all.
But no, I think I like that. I think those cut ropes are gonna get hard.
I
Bit fun
think
workout
a
to watch.
lot more people are going to struggle with the cut ropes than people think.
Yeah. So it's 15 feet high.
No. I think
Um,
maybe lower tier athletes like in the first heat, but no.
Yeah.
last interval, having an extra minute will definitely help.
So you'll see it later on, but I think having a dual kettlebell overhead walking lunge, and we'll talk about it in just a minute, but and a handstand walk are like way too similar in terms of like what they are. I think a overhead walking lunge is like the same test as a handstand walk.
I don't know.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think, dude, no, because I feel a ton of legs. Like even when it's overhead, I still don't
Mostly
feel like
legs.
crazy.
But I'm saying what will limit people on this workout is their ability to do double kettlebell overhead walking lunge.
You think? I think it's just going to come down to engine fatigue.
Yeah, I think so. If it was like 70 pounds, I think that would definitely be your ability to like do those.
Because your legs aren't going to be tired coming off of the double unders and rope climbs. You're just going to be high heart rate.
Yeah.
And like the weights aren't too heavy to get overhead. You're going to get them up to be able to like just work. Like you're not going to get stuck.
It really is going to be like moving through those rope climbs. Like 2 minutes, 1 minute of rest is not
nothing
that much to like recover for a lot of rope climbs, especially if you're doing them legless, because you're going to have to do half of them legless or like half of the rope climb.
Okay.
I didn't
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is called Athletes Only. 30, 24, 18, 12, 6 GHDs, 30-foot handstand walk, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 box jump over at 42 inches, and then 30-foot handstand walk with the obstacle on both handstand walks. What do you guys think about the 42-inch box?
That's a box jump over, not a get over, right?
Box
Yeah,
jump over.
that seems aggressive. That's so high.
That's very high.
Have you guys done box jump overs in a workout at 42 inches?
No.
I did one time with Adrian, and I almost killed him.
Like with wooden boxes too?
Yeah, we had those.
The few times I've done it, I just put jerk blocks on top of each other.
Stresses me out, dude. That's like you're stepping into those, obviously.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, so we did 40 inches because we did 2 of the coffin boxes at 20 inches, and like it was not. I clipped like the top. I shoved the whole box forward. Like it was not easy.
Yeah, that seems like I don't even know if I can do that.
No, you could. They're not that hard.
Yeah, you could, but you definitely like. You have to consciously think about it. It's not like a regular box. You're just like flinging up there.
That's a lot of jumps too, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll have the rubber ones there in comp, so.
And it's interesting. I mean, I've never done it with GHDs. The few times I've done it, it was with ring muscle ups.
Ooh,
but
dude,
with the GHDs, bringing up your freaking legs, bro.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick to watch, actually.
Because like the jump is not even going to be the hard part. The hard part is going to be getting your legs up high enough to land on the box.
Yeah.
Wait, dude, this seems so. Wait. So 4-time. How many times are you doing? How many feet of handstand walking are you doing?
It's 5 times 60, 300.
Dude, this seems so much in 13 minutes. I'm like tripping about.
So what's the total?
I think he said that all of his testing athletes went under 10.
Dang. I'm just like looking at this, and this seems like crazy.
So 80 GHD sit-ups total.
What about it seems crazy?
Just like the 60 feet every round with two hand, like both of them, the obstacle course each time.
I think
And
the
like
only thing that matters in this workout is handstand walk.
I'm just thinking, so that's like 2.5 minutes a round. I'm like, that's fast because like 30 GHD sit-ups takes you a minute. Yeah, you got to be getting around every 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It just seems
But
like
the last round is 6:30 to 30.
I know, but still, dude, I'm just like, dang, that seems aggressive.
So what's the 10, 8, 20, 30 box jump? How many of those box jumps can you do in a minute?
Probably 12 if you're like pushing it.
No.
Dude, that seems like a lot.
12? I'm pretty sure like 15 box jumps.
At 42 inches?
Yeah, I don't.
10? No.
I was thinking 10 is like a lot.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you're gonna land, hop off, turn around,
Yeah.
take a couple steps, jump, hop
box
off.
jump overs. Okay. I was thinking box jumps.
So they're probably doing 8.
I feel like every rep is gonna take 6 seconds for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's gonna be. What's the obstacle course? What is that?
It's
The
just
ramp
the
and stairs.
ramp and stairs, yeah.
Oh. So you got to do it like. You have to do it unbroken.
10
right?
times. Oh yeah. 30 feet unbroken, I'm sure.
Yep.
Dang, so that's gonna be pretty nasty because you got to be accurate with that.
Maybe they'll have like a little like line before the start of, I don't know.
Yeah, like 5 foot, and then no,
Like 10,
10, and then the handstand.
10, 10, 10.
Yeah,
10, 10, 10.
Yeah.
10 feet, handstand, 10 feet. Yeah, ramp down.
I like that one. I think it's cool.
like
I really like the box jump over at 42 inches. I don't even know. Is the highest we've seen at the games 30? Have we even seen
No,
a 30
that
box?
no, that year they did. It was like ring muscle ups, GHD, and it was like increasing box height.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Out on the field, Saxon won
Yeah.
that
I
workout.
think they had I think that was 42.
It was at least it was about that high at least. I think so.
Yeah. Up
Dude,
and over.
so how many handstand walks is that?
That's
10.
300 feet.
Yeah, but how many like of the course?
10. To do it twice each round.
That'll be like a handstand walk type of workout. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it is for sure.
I was just thinking people messing up, like they're gonna be immediately behind.
He also said that everyone who did it like just basically like kicked straight up and went unbroken and like
the people who had tested was freaking Taylor Self and Angelo DeChico.
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal.
Okay. Last
No
one,
big
bag
deal.
9. 9 sandbag cleans, 15 ring muscle ups, 21 cal row, 15 bar muscle ups, 9 sandbag cleans, and the sandbags at 200.
I like it.
What do you think about it going ring muscle up, bar muscle up?
I think it's a I think it's a different nuance because you don't see that, and I think it's going to allow for like athletes to push it within this tight time cap because bar muscle ups are easier, right? But they'll be fatigued getting to it, so it's just going to make people have to either push for unbroken or breaking it up, and I just think people have to game it more than you think.
Okay, what do you think a good time on this is going to be?
9 cleans in a minute.
5 bar muscle ups takes 15 seconds.
I think someone's going to get sub 5.
Yeah, usually 5 of any muscle up takes 5 minutes. So if you did the first one 9 in a minute, 15 ring muscle ups in a minute, yeah, like sub 5 would be nasty.
I think top time would be sub 5.
I think that JR said Taylor went 4 like 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's freaking insane, bro. He went touch and go on the sandbag clean.
I was
on the
gonna
first
ask,
set of
can you
sandbag
do
Touch
cleans.
and go?
Touch and go on the first set at 200.
That's just silly.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. Like I did 4 touch and go the other day. Like you could do them fresh, but like the last 9 is, I don't know. I like that. I like that a lot.
I got to figure out how to do touch and go with sandbag. That's crazy.
So that's actually the last one. Thoughts on overall?
Sick programming.
Drake?
I always like JR's programming. That's why I do Crash every year. I think it's sick. Unique workouts, different flavor than you're used to seeing. And it's not ever too cute. Like his stuff doesn't ever get too cute. Like it's simple but different.
To me, this is borderline too cute.
Why? Just the way it's written, or what?
I'm not sure what about it, but it feels borderline too cute to me.
Just because like different new double under or different rope, and then cut rope, and then
overhead lunge, which we barely see.
Yeah, just like all.
I'm not sure.
I
think all of it together.
I like on that workout that the score or the thing you have to do is the common movement. So like the first 2 are like kind of uncommon. Does that make sense? So it's like,
yeah,
I do like that. Like, I don't know. I like that workout a lot. We've seen cut ropes. I don't know about.
Yeah, we've seen cut ropes plenty, and I don't think the jump rope's gonna be that crazy.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either.
Wait, Drake, I wanted to ask, that fat rope that you did, was that like hard or?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, it definitely. I mean, it added up over 7 rounds.
Was it like your shoulders or your forearms or what?
No, I just say just like heart rate, breathing. I think a little bit of your arms are fatigued, but not too bad.
I think single unders get your heart rate higher than double unders, low key.
With a regular rope?
Well,
I
mean,
it's just you can get so many more like RPMs.
You can, but like, it's also we train double unders, so we know how to breathe during it. If you did single unders for like a month, you know.
I have the rope right here in my car. If you guys want to mess with it.
Oh, you got it? They gave it to you?
No, I've had this. I have this in my garage on my ceiling. I took it off.
Dude, I want to mess with it.
So
I like them. I like that last workout being like, I guess that's the final, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like it. I think that's a good final.
I like the second because everyone like they're easier. They're gonna be second. They're gonna be harder. Yeah.
I wonder if they'll make them advance the sandbag.
Ooh, that'll be an issue too.
Just because they usually want to see the race at the end, advance in boxes type of deal. See who's
what would
in
you
the
do? Like every 5 and 4 or
I'd
6
like
and 3?
3-3-3.
I feel like that would slow it too much, don't you think?
Pick it up, carry it, see who can go touch and go right to the ground the next rep.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, has NorCal released their programming yet?
No, Mike just sent me a thing that someone on Instagram asked, like in a comment section, when they're releasing, and someone said June 5th, which is the day before the competition.
Ooh.
And someone said that's NorCal style, is to release it the day right at the competition.
How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I don't care because it's the same for everybody. I just naturally am already just kind of like arms in the air with NorCal because they're always doing some goofy stuff that I'm just like, there's probably going to be stuff that's just so weird that it's just going to have to just deal with it and whatever.
Like bucket holds?
I mean, hopefully not they're a games qualifier, but there is a video of Rich saying, he's like, yeah, they're doing some stuff that I probably would never program, but it's their thing. And I'm
really?
like, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm just like, love that.
Yeah.
What if they have
they do some dumb shit? I hope that they get their like thing revoked for next year, like being able to qualify people to the games. They're like, yeah, you guys aren't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
What if they did back roll to support on the rings?
It'd be stupid.
That would be one of those dumb shit things.
Why?
It just doesn't need to just come out in this stage. Hey, it just needs to be something that people that needs to come out of the games first and trickle its way
Known,
down. I
you
think.
want it to be known and knowable.
Sure. I don't think everything has to be unknown and unknowable.
Yeah. But is a back roll to support unknown and unknowable at
Yeah.
this point?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
What about I don't know. What about GHD med ball toss for distance?
If it was worth 25 points, it's fine.
What if that was the 1 RM?
That'd be stupid.
Why is that a less valuable 1 RM than a snatch?
It's too technical based. I don't know.
A GHD
med ball toss?
Oh,
It's more technical based than a snatch.
Just like something you don't practice.
Why don't you practice it, bro?
so because it's gay. To me,
Because we play a sport.
Like,
This is a sport,
okay.
Mason. It's not just CrossFit methodology 101.
like, yeah, to me, if you're doing a 1 rep max of something, I think it should be a common movement that people train so that you're like,
So,
We're not trying to.
like it's
This
a
is a
common strength movement that people know has been there, and they're going to be doing it. I don't know. Like, I don't like I'm not
We're not
really,
trying to play gotcha. Like that's not the point of CrossFit. Is to play gotcha. Like you haven't been practicing this. It's a sport, dude. Like the sport side of things is a sport. We're not trying to just do everything unknown and unknowable.
why don't they just have the same programming every year?
well, then we wouldn't have the unknown.
It's not black and white, buddy.
That's what. Was I saying? We're not.
What about like we talked about, Drake, with the 1 rep max dumbbell snatch?
I like that.
Why do you like that more than the GHD?
Because it's something that's been implemented and introduced.
There's never been a 1 rep max dumbbell snatch.
But like it's a movement we've done.
We do GHDs all the time.
Not a GSD throw.
It happened at the games in 2010.
Yeah, and why haven't they gone back to it? Probably because it was a bust.
I don't know.
That's probably a bust.
They did a softball.
What about like a keg toss for height?
Be cool.
Yeah, I think some strongman stuff could be used. I wouldn't love for it to be like weighted the same as like a traditional event, but
See, that stuff I think needs to come out though, just at the CrossFit Games though, because you can't do stuff that's so niche.
yeah, you're right.
Because you're just at that point you're valuing niche skills over just like capacity fitness.
I agree.
Because that's like a sport, right? If you think of the pyramid, like throwing that type of stuff, that's like sport on the pyramid, and you're placing more value on that rather than just like metabolic conditioning, gymnastics, and weightlifting.
Weightlifting / throwing.
Yeah, weightlifting / throwing, but still metabolic conditioning, gymnastics under that. When you only have 6 events in a weekend, and you place 1/6 of that on one dumb thing that's just like a top of a niche sport, that's way too much emphasis, and it can't be placed
That's
there.
what a snatch is. A snatch is hella niche.
But yeah, that's people argue you shouldn't have 1 rep maxes, and we've been going away from it. When's the last time you've seen a 1 rep max at a credible competition?
Well,
There goes Brendan. And snatches, yeah, weightlifting.
I just don't know. I think that they should all. I think that it's all similar. Like to me, a GHD med ball toss for distance is in the same realm as a 1 rep max.
But this
overhead
is
squat.
you talking with the hat on that like the CrossFit sport should be like encompassing all of what the methodology is, and it's not. There's a lot of overlap, but it's not like eye for eye the whole methodology. There has to be parts to sports that is regulated. There has to be things that are known. There has to be things that do follow a trend and have a little bit of tendency in like a progression of things to follow. And you can still do that while implementing things that are unknown and unknowable. It needs to be overlap, but it doesn't need to be completely like congruent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta go.
All right. Later, bro.
Okay, see you guys. Love you. Bye.
Brendan, take a look at this.
Bro, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
I can't hear what? I can't hear anything.
You can't hear me?
Give me a peace sign if we're done. Give me the scissor sign if you want to get food this week. Hey! All right, text me.
All right, later.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Well, that didn't go very well, but that's okay. I think that's all I got. Let me see. Peace. Bye-bye.